And it's really funny because I always believe that the way back to yourself, it's not about learning who you are. It's more about unlearning who you are not. So
Mm.
for me, this is like the biggest, the biggest lesson. It's like you have to unlearn all of these stories that you're telling yourself and actually learn the truth. And the truth is that you can absolutely have anything you want if you just choose to go for it.
So today I am super excited to be talking to Irina. And Irina is a career growth strategist and a coach. And she's committed to empowering ambitious, driven professionals to unlock their creative minds, maximize their potential, and identify the right career path that fits in with who you are, your strengths, your talents, and your desired lifestyle. Irina is a strong believer in the power of career fulfillment on your overall success, your wealth, productivity, well being, and happiness. Irina is a strong advocate of the importance of having a aligned career that fuels your calling, ignites your joy, and gives you mind flowing fulfillment. She's on a mission to help ambitious professionals around the world to strategize their next big career move. And even if you have reached the top and the next level is a little blurry, this move, a move that will give you more money, more joy, and more fulfillment. Doesn't that sound amazing? So her signature aligned career mastery system has helped hundreds of ambitious professionals get clarity about their next career move and transition into the chosen role with confidence and ease. So welcome, Irina. I am so happy to have you here with us. I mean, the last sentence with confidence and ease, that just, you know, helps you just relax, right? Your shoulders drop. And what a beautiful service that you're really doing in this world and what you're creating. So I would love to start out if you could tell us and the listeners, how did you get here to be doing this amazing work that you're doing right now?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, baby, for inviting me to your podcast. And it's a real pleasure. And I really admire your mission and what you do. So it's a privilege to be part of this beautiful podcast. So my journey, yes, my journey is the journey back home. I always call it back home to who I really am. So I started my career years ago. I came from back home from Belarus to London, UK, to study, and then I stayed, and I started working in the financial sector. Well, after finance degree, it kind of seemed a logical step.
Right, right. That's what you do.
Right. Like what you do, yeah, you do finance degree, you go to finance, banking, and I must say that at that moment, success for me was defined by prestige, by status, by being in a big organization, by promotions, by bonuses, by having a big house, all of these external driven things, which is, I guess, normal. And
Mm-hmm.
that's in the beginning of your career. So I kind of embarked on this banking career for the next 15 years. And yes, I was doing really well, was really enjoying jumping like from promotion after promotion, climb to the top. And all of this was amazing. And I can't say there was like, of course I was enjoying. I had a brilliant career. But
Mm-hmm.
one day, one day, I think it was happened around maybe 7, 8 years mark in the corporate world. I started having this kind of nagging feeling that something was missing,
Mm.
and something which was very new to me because I'm genuinely a very happy person. And then at that moment, I don't know why, I just had this feeling that I can do something better and bigger and become something better. It just kind of, I felt that I'm not using my potential. And I noticed that I'm not really growing anymore. And it's not like promotion kind of made a big difference for me, because another promotion didn't change much. I didn't change, and I didn't grow my skill set much. It was good, but it was like, it's a good job on paper, but it didn't feel
Right.
good inside. So this is like one of the things when kind of misaligned. But for a long time, I was ignoring this nagging feeling because, well, that's how another few years passed by, because
Right.
I didn't know what to do with that. And I think that's where lots of us, like, we don't really know what is that about. I mean, what is that feeling trying to tell us? And if
Right.
anything, I got busier. I took on more projects and more. So my calendar was full of events and social and work related, not work related, because I simply didn't know what to do with that.
Right.
With this kind of feeling. So, but again, you can't run away from yourself. You can run as fast as you want, but you will never run away from yourself. So that is why, well, that's a lesson learned. Don't ignore the feeling inside telling you to do something else and something different. After ignoring it for years, I came to the stage when it started impacting my life, and that's when you have to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when my boredom, demotivation, kind of, I don't know, like, the session for mania didn't lead me anywhere. I knew that what I'm doing was not meaningful, but I didn't know what else could I do with my skill set and in life. And also, when I was thinking about it, it was definitely something not banking related. But then I thought, Jesus, but all my experience, all my background is in banking
Right.
finance. What else can I do possibly if this is who I am? So, like, my banking identity, how I was calling it. And then and then I hired a career coach. I thought it's like a natural career like move when you want to
Right.
understand what's next for you. However, it was kind of very disappointing, because what in the end I ended up with the same type of job in just in another company with a slightly bigger salary, slightly higher title, but like pretty much doing exactly the same. And this is when I understood that no, that's not about it. That's not about me just transitioning and changing jobs for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger and more profound and something deeper. And so that's how I decided, okay, forget all the coaches, let me just do it on my own, because there is something much deeper happening. And that's how I ended up in this whole journey of self discovery. And the biggest realization was that in this search for next promotion, in this chase of never ending finish line, I kind of lost myself. And well, the question was even if I knew myself at all.
Yeah. Right.
But it's almost like you forget and lose touch with who you really are. And I just realized that my career is a proper misalignment. I just felt it doesn't suit me in certain way. And I was ready for the career reset, to press a reset button on my career and realign my career in line with who I really am. So this is pretty much my journey. I can first tell you what happened after, but I just don't want to like talk without stopping.
No, that's beautiful. I love that. And I think so many people will be able to relate to this, right? That at some point of time, right? So what happened to you? So at some moment, right, you are having this successful career. So you are the ambitious career woman.
Definitely.
Yeah, it kind of came to me when you were talking. And so the feeling came out of nowhere, kind of like for several years you were fine, right? Kind of following the rules of the outside society, right? Kind of like, okay, achieve, next step. And then one day it kind of comes that nagging feeling that you feel that something's off.
Yeah, and also start impacting your life, right? So my boredom and demotivation impacted my relationships with my ex-husband. Well, he became ex,
Mm-hmm.
which is clearly the best thing that happened to me. But what I'm saying, it damages relationships, because it just like I stopped exercising. I started eating more. I started watching Netflix more. I start maybe having a bit more glasses of wine. Like you kind of start, you want to numb this feeling of,
Feeling
I don't know, like feeling, this feeling of
something's
something,
missing.
yeah, some loneliness, some sadness, some, I don't know, you're in frustration, but you don't know with what, but you're numbing it with all of these different addictions. And it's like, as I said, it's running away. And it kind of, it was happening for me for a few years on
Mhm.
Netflix, not exercising. But at some point, you reach this kind of moment when enough is enough. When you understand, Jesus, if you keep continuing like this, it's not going to take me far in life. So
So you're talking about essentially when you are not in alignment, right? If you have this nagging feeling, this kind of void inside that something's missing, and then if you kind of keep staying there and not doing something about it is that it starts to impact every area of your life, right? You're talking about your health, you're talking about your major, obviously, relationship, family, right? Every area of your life is impacted. So how long did you stay there, right? How long did you try kind of all these external things kind of to pacify? And what happened that prompted you to start actually taking steps towards making a change?
Yeah, so as I said, it was few years. I would say maybe 4 years. 4 years. Even, by the way, I was successful in my career still. It didn't impact my performance,
I'm
so
sure you
that was
were very successful.
good. It just it's like kind of loses its meaning. Your achievements lose its meaning. It's like when you achieve things and you achieve your promotion, you're like, yeah, whatever. What is next? It's
Hmm.
like you don't have this deep satisfaction, which kind of feels amazing. It's just like, okay, thank you very much. It's great. But what is next? So like, you're never satisfied enough. You're never successful enough, and you just realize that I think the trigger was this realization when I was receiving one of my awards, and again for performance over the year, and I just realized that I don't care about this anymore, and it
Hmm.
made me sad because if kind of my purpose and my success was defined by this moment, and I was in this moment receiving this award and feeling that it's not satisfying, then what is? And then it's almost like at that moment my life kind of lost its purpose because and even it had a purpose. The purpose was to achieve, to be rewarded, but is
Hmm.
it really a purpose? So that's when I start questioning this whole meaning and purpose and my why and what is it all for. And I just knew one thing, that I would never be able to stay like this for even another year. Imagine like 25 whatever more years until retirement. That's impossible. So
Hmm.
that's the only thing I knew. I didn't know what exactly I need to do instead. That was not yet clear to me.
Yeah.
I definitely knew that I need to get out and I need to get out as soon as possible because otherwise it will be a really detrimental impact on everything in my life.
Wow. No, and I can completely understand that. And I think so many people, again, will be able to relate to it. And when you were in kind of, is the void getting bigger? What you're feeling? Is that feeling kind of snowballing? Is that what's happening kind of along the way for you?
Yeah, it gets louder, I would say. So
Okay.
it's like first you can numb it, you can numb it by watching Netflix, but then it becomes louder. And then you become the cynical, negative person. And then you start hating yourself that you're not exercising, you're not like this and that and that. And then you spend that time on social media and seeing how everybody's happy and you're like miserable. And I felt guilty, if I'm honest, because lots of people thought that I'm lucky to have an incredible lifestyle and great job. And I couldn't even tell them actually I'm not happy. So I felt really ashamed of my own feelings. And that's also the
Yeah.
reason why I was numbing them so long. I just felt like that's really strange to complain if everybody like believes that you're having such a great life.
Right.
So, but
Right.
it doesn't last, as I said. Yeah, it kind of it not only gets louder, it destroys you because how many Netflix series can you watch? How many? It's like it's well, my husband as well, my ex-husband left, so it kind of triggered me and even though it was the best thing later on, I realized, and we were different people. But at that moment, I mean, imagine, yeah, I've been with a person like for 15 years, and suddenly he's gone, and
Hmm.
then and then I'm not happy in the career, and then this has happened, and then okay, what am I gonna do with all of this?
Yeah. So do you feel like that void and kind of that feeling of missing something made you like a person, like you kind of understood that you needed to work and address it so you can be a better partner and have also, other areas of your life go better? Was that a part of it? Like kind of,
Yeah, exactly. I think my another trigger is funny enough when I start dating, like after some time, because I was still keep running my like doing my work and all of the things, and divorced, and then I start dating again. And I remember I was getting exactly the same type of men and who were not ready. Who it's almost like I start to noticing that the common denominator in all these things were me, and so it's absolutely useless to check anywhere else in terms of career dissatisfaction, in terms of relationship dissatisfaction. At that moment, I was single and dating. In terms of everything, it has to be like I'm the common denominator, and I'm better look into that. And I knew that for a long time I was delaying this because big time it's not always pleasant. With all these beliefs that I had about myself and life and men and career and success, it's not so easy to just to go and shake it and change it, right? It does require courage and compassion to make it happen. But when I realized it's the only way, this is how I started my whole self-discovery journey. And it was definitely ups and downs. It was a bumpy road, I wouldn't lie. It was, yeah, I had low moments for sure on this journey, but then it was the best, most rewarding journey of my life. And it's like something, as I said, it's a way back home where I belong, because from there, from when you get into this level of who you really are and what is that you want, that's how I started to get in clarity about everything. Like, what is I'm passionate about, what is my why, what is important to me, what kind of career do I want to have, what kind of man do I want to have, what kind of so I just start questioning these important things which I never questioned before, because I was always looking for these answers from outside instead of asking myself, what is that, Irina, you really, really want? And from there was born an incredible career path, which kind of, it was not what I do now. It was another industry relating to people management, and management consulting actually, and it was coaching because I discovered coaching back then, and then when I found the path, it was again a lot of like big ups and downs, because my friends were telling me, what? Are you going to quit banking and go to people management, to management consulting, to do coaching of people? What? Are you crazy? So, you have to face a lot of these kind of stories and things. But the thing is, when you connect to yourself, you trigger less and less, because you lead from within with this desire, which kind of outweighs all your fears and all of these external things that you're telling you cannot do it, it's not a good thing. You listen to your intuitive inner wisdom and you lead with that. And that's what brought me to an incredible job offer in another industry. Well, again, it's not as easy as it sounded. That's a lot of learning. But when I got the job offer, this is actually my why came up. I got a job offer, quit for my job, but I understood that actually, Irina, but you can have even bigger impact. Instead of you getting this job offer, how about you show others how to do that? How to actually, when you don't know, have no clue what is that you want, but you just know that you're not satisfied in your current career, how about showing people the way of connecting to themselves, out of this deeper alignment, kind of find the career path that suits you and who you are, and then transition there with clarity and ease. Because this is what I've done for myself, but I almost like felt if I secure the job offer, I will never show the world how to do that too. So that's why I did the craziest thing ever. Like, as you can imagine, majority of people around, they thought I'm crazy already to get another job in another industry. But then I said no to the job offer and said, I'm starting my own journey. I'm starting my own business. That was like a big leap of faith, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So yeah, I am.
Wow. So can you describe a little bit the contrast of how, so when you, right now, this is, what are you doing right now, and how it feels in contrast, right, to the feelings of void and that nagging feeling you had before?
Yeah, well, right now, first of all, I feel truly who I am every single day. And I think with this, I call this process radical alignment. Okay. And that's why by radical alignment, I mean that not only you align your career path, everything, when you kind of discover this inner source of inner wisdom and you connect to this like inner core, everything starts to unfold in a different way. Within literally few months after I connected to that, I met my now husband, and well, he proposed 5 months after, and we are together. We are still on honeymoon years after, because like I attracted him to me. I didn't attract him by playing games, by trying to be not who I am, by trying to be like or anything. I attracted to me, who I really am, and then your life becomes so much easier because you don't waste your energy on trying to be who you're not, on trying to fit in, on trying to kind of show, improve, and demonstrate. It's just you. And that's why for me, my business, it's so easy. I'm just in all social media, somebody tells, oh, business. It's not a problem. I'm living my life and I'm showing people how I live it. Because there is absolutely nothing for me to hide, nothing to show, prove. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is my life. And every single morning I wake up grateful for the beautiful life I have because I do what I love every single day. I have energy. I have, well, I obviously in love with my husband and in life in general. And, this is this life which I thought was a dream, but now I'm living this dream. So clearly it's not. It's possible if you allow yourself to have it. So
Wow.
that's
No, that's like, that spoke to my heart and I can feel it. That feels so beautiful. So essentially you're living the life, including your career, where you feel in love with life, and how beautiful. And don't we all want that? So can you unpack a little bit, from that place, right? First of all, I wanted to ask you, what led you to start thinking to reflect inside of you, right? What led you on the path kind of where you started looking, okay, the common denominator is me. I have to look and do kind of the inner work.
Yeah. Well, this is, I think, this is the same nagging feeling. It's like, as I said, the essence of this nagging feeling, it's time to look within. So that's pretty much what this nagging feeling is telling you. It's you, like your real you, your authentic you, is trying to get out from these layers of fears and insecurities and all of this imposed kind
Conditioning.
of conditioning, and just trying to get out and tell you, please look at me and hear what I have to say. I have this desire, please honor it, please go listen and go for it, because this is who you really are. Everything else is an imposter is the person who is fearful. Imposter is the person who gets busy not to listen to this inner self wisdom. This is the imposter who is distracting you from being you. And so for me, that was kind of the essence of looking into it, because, as I said, at some point it becomes so loud and unbearable that you know that this is the only way to do that. And that's why I always encourage people, don't look for external answers. They're all within you. Yes, you may need support with that's for sure, because it's not easy on your own, because you're very subjective and it's difficult sometimes to understand what does that mean. But definitely it's not about because this whole energy of neediness, it can translate into relationships, and that's why the impact is detrimental, right? But when I always say, like, for me, discovering who you are in this whole journey is about, like, when you don't know who you are or you don't own who you are, you're standing on one feet. And so everybody, like, you imagine you're standing on one feet and somebody comes and shakes you, you straight away shakes with it, because, like, you're on one feet, you're not grounded, you're just not secure in who you are. So when you discover the core who you are and connect to that power within, this is when you stand on your 2 feet, and big time nothing can shake you. It doesn't matter who shakes you, you stand like super grounded, and you own it. And this reflects in your career, in your choices, in your decision, in your energy. And that's how different opportunities, incredible things start coming your way, because big time you're going to be unapologetic about being yourself. So that's it. And so, as I said, beautiful journey, absolutely must for everybody who's feeling the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you start standing on your own 2 feet, right? So if you are in that space where you're feeling that feeling, the nagging feeling, you've tried, and you probably have some years that have already passed, right? Feeling, and it grows and it grows, and you try to shift some things, but then you still, it's not going away. So what is that? But you don't know what to do. Yeah. What is that next one step forward that a person can take?
Well, like in my programs, for example, ACM, right? So it's called Aligned Career Mastery for reasons. Aligned. It all starts with it's 3 steps. It's very simple, but it all starts with clearing your career growth blocks. And I say career growth because I'm a career coach, but of course, this kind of blocks, they exist in general, like everywhere in life, right? Because the thing is, if you don't clear these old stories that nothing is possible, nobody is hiring, let's say, I'm talking about the career space, or you can't transition to another industry because you don't have relevant experience, guess what? It will even sabotage your chance to even explore the possibilities, to even explore and see outside of your tunnel vision and see what
Mm.
else is possible and available for you, maybe outside of your industry, outside of your role. So that is why, by not clearing these stories, and clearing is the process. Of course, it's not a process that takes one day, but the big clearing bit is to become even aware of it. I think that
Mm. Yeah.
70% of clearing comes from you even becoming aware that you have this story, and you being aware that it's not true, that this is the story most probably inherited, or it's the story that is obsolete, it's not relevant for you anymore, you just inherit it from, sometimes, I don't know, back generation. Like, might be the
Right.
story you need to work hard to be successful, clearly was not mine. It was like back generations where the culture was born in. It's like, you work hard to succeed, that's the only way, there is absolutely no other way. And so all of this conditioning is there, but by becoming aware what is stories they're telling yourself, by even asking myself what is it stopping me to even consider something else, this voice comes up with all the beautiful stories to tell you, oh, but really? No, but it's better stay. So you start like being an independent observer of your own thoughts, because this is like the first step to even clear these stories, to becoming aware of them. Because of course, what we think, that leads to our feeling, and what we do with to our actions, right? And then results. So if you
Yeah.
believe that I cannot possibly transition industry because nobody will hire me, because I don't have any relevant experience, guess what? It will make you feel disappointed, upset, frustrated, and you will never start. Or even if you start, you will prove yourself right, because you will kind of get rejection letters and all of these things, because it's like you always believe whatever you believe you can or you can't, you'll prove yourself right. So that's like the most important thing. So I think that was why the first journey of the self-discovery, or career clarity, or any clarity in life, it's
Yeah.
all about first looking into what is that blocks that holding you back and stopping you from even considering the possibilities of more beautiful life.
So what you're saying is that what's blocking your career are your beliefs.
Yeah, about what is possible for you. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, like you said, you might not be aware of them. So how do you uncover even kind of what are those disempowering thoughts, beliefs running in the background?
Yeah, the simple question to ask yourself is simply to continue the phrase. For example, I'm where I'm not moving forward in my career because. So everything that after the because, that's your conditioning, this your thoughts. This is why exactly you stuck. Because can be different for different people, but and then of course we're talking about people who feel that they're not moving forward, they're not growing. So I'm not growing my career because, and then because, oh, it's not the right time, la 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 la. So all of this because after because thought. These are the exactly career growth blocks or beliefs or conditioning that is right now holding you stuck where you are now instead of moving forward. So that's the simplest way, and very
Okay, so
effective.
let's think, if I'm not moving because I'm not moving forward with my career because my boss is not giving me the opportunity, right? My boss is not recognizing my full potential. My company is not seeing me or not seeing what I can do, or I've talked to my boss and think still nothing changes. So can you kind of name maybe some specific examples of what you've seen, and then how do you reflect, like, what is that belief that's actually in you that's
Mhm.
preventing you from moving forward?
Yeah, so let's say even take your examples, because it's quite often exactly what people say, right? So I don't know, my boss doesn't appreciate and
Mhm.
doesn't appreciate me and what I do. So the thing is, this is why you're not progressing. So if you believe this thought, right? So if you believe this thinking, well, first of all, how does it make you feel? How does it make you feel that you're not appreciated? So what is your response? How does it make you feel knowing that? you're not appreciated, you're like not progressing. It makes you feel clearly not happy, but like
Right.
more frustrated and sad, right?
Right.
But then the thing is, next comes action. But if the limiting beliefs or career blocks, they're always either about blaming others or external kind of things, blaming others or external circumstances, or beating yourself up. That's how you know that this is a limiting story. It's two ways. It's two extremes, right? It's either like, oh, my boss, opportunity, nobody's hiring, oh no, I can't. So it's either this spectrum, and then you know that this is the limiting story, or you say, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm not as smart, like kind of putting it on yourself. Either way, it's limiting mindset, fixed mindset, I call it, right? So then the question is, what are you going to do with that? So if you keep believing these beliefs, nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes. It means that if we meet with you 1 year and you keep telling me this story, then clearly you will be staying the same thing. So, and then what I always say, so is it really true? Is it really true that, for example, let's say, I don't know, nothing is possible for me, nothing is available for me apart from this? Is it really true? So I always ask to question this belief. Is it really true? If you look at this, not really. Okay, so what will happen if you let go of this belief? How would you feel if you let go of this belief about the boss, about whatever? How would you feel that if your career progress or career growth is not really related to your boss? Your boss is busy with his growth and with his other things.
Yeah, might not be thinking about you.
Exactly. He's thinking about Jesus. Oh, my boss just didn't tell me, or whatever. He's busy with his own things. And if you keep relying on your boss being responsible for your career growth, you will never grow in your life. This day will never come. So it's all about realizing that, well, actually, if I drop this belief that my career progress is not happening because of my boss, what is happening? You're like, yeah. So what would you believe instead? Well, you believe instead that I can absolutely grow whenever I choose to. So it's up to me that this is I am responsible, or people are hiring. So if I have the right help and if I have the right strategy, I can absolutely transition to anything I want with ease. So it's almost like start. What do you need to believe instead in order for you to feel better and more empowered, right? Because blaming boss will not move you in your career progress years down the line. So why waste time?
I love that. So, okay, so you drop kind of that constraining belief, right? That's really not serving you. And then you're saying you come up, is it a counter belief or you just kind of pick and choose?
Yeah. It's more like, what do you want to believe instead? Because right now you can decide either you keep telling yourself these limiting stories and not moving forward, but then don't blame anybody. It's your fault because you chose that. Or you decide right that moment to believe some instead, which is more empowering. And it's again your choice. And everything that happens after is because you chose it. So every time people start in their career and did nothing about that, they choose it. They chose it. They chose it, but you can unchoose it. And it's really funny because I always believe that the way back to yourself, it's not about learning who you are. It's more about unlearning who you are not. So for me, this is like the biggest lesson. It's like you have to unlearn all of these stories that you're telling yourself and actually learn the truth. And the truth is that you can absolutely have anything you want if you just choose to go for it.
That's beautiful. And I think that's what we want, right? That's what everybody wants. But then, okay, if we go back to that stuckness, okay, you feel something's missing, you decide, okay, you will drop the belief, you pick a more empowering belief. But how do you integrate it, right? Because like the next day, you wake up with the same feelings of stress, overwhelm, right? Like it's kind of like a similar running scenario and you're still unclear. Okay, I can tell myself I'm more empowered, but my experience is the same. Like what are kind of some of the next steps that you recommend and lead people to take, on that journey, one step at a time?
Yeah. So of course it doesn't change like the next day, but the idea is here is you have to work on it. It's an inner work. Success is an inner work. Career success or any success in life is an inner work. It's not an externally driven. And so yes, it will be hard in the beginning. You have to consciously choose to think differently. And if you have to choose 100 times a day, you choose 100 times a day.
It's like the ultimate conditioning or training.
200 times a day, you choose 200 days.
I love that.
Exactly. And of course, there are lots of techniques, like, for example, I practice like EFT, emotional freedom technique, breath work, like dancing. I do lots of things, and I make this whole process for my clients fun, because I know that it can be very lonely just to, like, okay, one thinking that, one thinking that. So that's why the empowering community comes in, where you can have this constant accountability, and like express these feelings that you're again back to that, and then the support of people who are like-minded and who get where you are and what you're facing is incredible and important. So I think that's where all of this community comes in handy, right? Because then you're not alone, because definitely we are not alone. That's
Yeah.
100%. So this is an inner work. As I said, it does take time, but also when you see it as a beautiful journey, and every day changes, and even if you change a little bit, like a small shift, even if you caught your thought and that it's limiting you, even if you haven't yet believed the opposite thought, it's already progress. I think here it's very important to focus on the progress rather than the outcome, because this whole journey is a journey. It's a journey, right? A journey back to yourself. And that's why after you have this, so this is the first step, if we talk about clarity, career change, or career
Or
satisfaction.
even the journey back to yourself, like you're saying, it's kind of sounds like, oh, so calming to my heart, and it's
Yeah.
great. And it's like, but then how the heck do you do it?
So the first one, you address this one, but then the second one is going within and asking yourself, what is that really want? And actually, I always start with what you don't want, because I notice that people better know what they don't want
I love
than
that.
what you want. Because out of the what I don't want, you can actually come up and see what is that you want instead, right? But
Yeah.
it depends if it's career or relationship or whatever. It's like you start asking yourself the questions. What is that I really want next in my career? What is my desire? What if everything is possible? What if I can have anything I want in my career? Like literally, what if no obstacles exist? Because we start again, this monkey mind start telling you, oh,
Yeah.
what? But you're 40, huh? What? Like all of these stories will come. That's what I'm saying. It's so important to be aware of them and clear them before. Because then when you say, what is that I really want? Forget the how, because that's what kills kind of the dream, right? You just focus
Yeah.
on this what. And that's where this whole visualization comes in handy, which I also, I really love power visualization, because just let yourself imagine what is that you want in your career and your life, if everything is possible. Just let yourself dream, right? So that's where we started picking up at least the direction you want to go. This is how I start to pick up, for example, that freedom is important to me, flexibility is important to me. I don't
Yeah.
like to be micromanaged. I want to inspire people. I don't want to push people, because I was managing the sales team for so long, right? I don't want to push people. I want to inspire people instead. So all of these things, they come up when you take some time to think. Again, what is important to you? Values. Values is a clearly very important component of satisfaction in life. And what is important to you? Okay, so if, for example, peace for me is very important, harmony, but then am I feeling harmonious every day? And if not, what could I do to feel that? So that's how I started, for example, daily meditations. Even if it's 5 minutes, it doesn't matter, but it makes me feel in harmony. And this is my value, and I'm living it. And I'm not perfect. I'm not talking here, okay, so you need to become a superhuman and like
Yeah.
literally no negative thoughts anymore. You're living of course, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But
We
at the
all have
same
them.
time, if you most of the time you're doing your best to literally believe the thought that take you to your vision, and give yourself a chance, and like even if you start slowly but surely moving towards that, that's already a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The making the shift, right? Even if it's even a minute or 5 minutes more in that empowered place, right? In that better place of what you want to create. And so and it's kind of interesting because you were there, you had built, right, a career, a strong career, right? Successful career, and something. And I think many women find themselves, like it's been over 10 years, right? And then, like you said, the voice comes in like, okay, you feel something's missing, but then, what do I throw away? Right? All that I've built, right? All these years that I put in, and kind of like, how do you get clarity on, do you have to start anew? Or can you make your current job, your dream job, can you,
Mm.
shift some things around?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a So how I answer that, every single year of experience, everything, single thing you do, it's transferable. So your expertise and years of experience are transferable, because it's not about company in industry. It's about you doing the things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are taking yourself from one kind of career path or employer industry to another one. So nothing. So it's not like you're losing anything at all. So that's first like mindset shift, that your expertise is transferable for sure. But the second thing is how to understand if your current role is or current career is good for you or not, or the new one. Well, new one is I always say, well, new one is also relative. But anyway, on the new one, I say three elements are important. So I call it aligned career vision. So the first important point is to understand what are your energizers. Energizers are usually literally what are you good at. It's your either strengths, this is things that you're good because you practice them for so long, or talents, you're naturally good at this because I don't know, you just were born with this ability, right? So just kind of, because usually what you're good at energizes you, so you
Mm-hmm.
operate from the zone of competence, so you do what you're good at. But then what many people forget actually, and that's how what determine, I think, the idea to stay in the current role or leave, is your interest or your passions. And some people
Okay.
say, oh, passion is like, oh, but
Yeah, I like
actually, if
reading
you look
books.
at
I
it,
like watching hockey or whatever. Yeah.
exactly, like this kind of passion, exactly, that's many people say that, but actually, passion will determine the industry or the area of the company you will go in. Okay, so you like gardening, like one of my clients like gardening. Of course, it's not about quit your job and become a gardener, but
Okay.
behind each passion, there is a so-called passion behind passion. And this passion behind passion can shed a light on your line path. So I call it, why do you love what you love? Okay, you love reading books. Why? What is it? What about reading books do you really love? What kind of books do you love reading, right? So you like gardening. Why? So my client, for example, with a gardening hobby, like passion, like really passionate about gardening, she told me that I love to put a seed and then see it grow from the seed until the plant, until the, like literally I feel that I contributed to this growth. And
Yeah.
guess what? She went from banking to the startup company, and she's now responsible for launching products that didn't exist before, growing them for the whole process until they like come to the stage of like literally maturity, right? So she's now doing gardening in
Wow.
her role. But you see, it's not about the garden, it's about the elements that your passion has that motivate and enjoys you, inspires you. So this is the elements that you want to consider in your role in decide whether it's in your current industry or not. And then the third element is of course your motivators or your values, because this is where the company culture fit will either be a good fit or not. Because if it's a culture of flexibility and freedom, and you can just, if you want to work from home now because of the COVID, you've learned that it's something you enjoy, you want to have the opportunity to do that. And if they don't allow you, like in my previous corporate job, they didn't allow it for their reasons, it's culture, then it's not for you. And it's okay to just say, okay, if it's not there, if you can't give me that, I'm going to go and find where it will be possible. So it's like this combination of, as I said, of your energizers, of your interests and passions, and your motivators that create the vision and helps you at least to see the direction your career should go into.
I love that. And I love the example you shared about the gardening and the person who had that passion and how they kind of connected the dots. And let's say, so are you saying also that, let's say you're an accountant, right? Or do finance, marketing, whatever it is, could the fact that could just changing industries help? You think, could that be a lack of fulfillment? Like sometimes that you're just in the maybe wrong industry, supporting the wrong mission?
Yeah. So I always help clients at three alignment levels, like
Okay.
alignment at three levels. So it's alignment with your role. This
Mhm,
has to relate to your zone of competence,
mhm.
because it's like what you're good at, because if you operate from zone of weaknesses, clearly you will not enjoy it. Like you need to make sure that you're utilizing and leverage your strengths. That's the role. Then the next thing is, if your passion or your passion and interest has to be aligned with the industry overall, like
Okay.
industry. Or, and again, it doesn't have to be like, okay, I like beauty, that's why I will be in beauty energy, right? Or like, like there are certain things and elements to consider, for example with the gardening, right? But it has to be incorporated in the industry. So the gardening passion was incorporated in the startup, because startups are what they do. They start from zero and they launch and they see it grow, right? So that's the whole industry. You go any startup, it doesn't matter which one, it will be exactly the same process. So my point is that that's a second alignment of the industries. Go align with your interests and passions. And then of course cultural fit or company fit goes in line with your values. So that's how you kind of get alignment at three levels, right? With your role. Is it still, I have lots of clients who still keep doing the same role because they realize that they're actually good at that and they enjoy that. But then what they realize that, for example, their passion is clearly not in finance or banking or whatever they were been working for, and it's somewhere else. I have clients who are super passionate about technology, about wine. My client moved from banking to the wine industry. So even though she thought it's completely impossible, it's like doesn't exist. How can she move from banking to the wine without any experience? It's possible. She's living this life now and doing really well. So my point is that that's why the wine industry came up, because it's her biggest passion. Sometimes it's as obvious as that. Sometimes it's like a little bit like hidden, as you can see with the gardening, but it's always aligned with the area, like with the field you are currently in. So it's a matter of you asking if it's aligned or not. And if it's not, how can you align it better? And then, of course, another thing is how to put it all together and search for opportunities that you've never considered before. That's how I teach people how to use LinkedIn to get this clarity about your career path, using all of these elements, like how to search for something that you have never even considered before, companies never considered before, how to search for it, because that's also the essence. So how to do it in a strategic way. So, but that's the main kind of three elements: alignment in three levels, as I call it.
Wow, no, that's beautiful. And it seems like the underlying theme is really opening your mind,
Yeah,
opening your mind
exactly.
to so many possibilities, right? Outside of what you thought maybe is literally possible. And that sounds beautiful. At the same time, I think there's tremendous power in understanding kind of like, even like your example, your own personal journey, that it comes in stages, right? That it might not, like, taking off the pressure that it will happen with the next move.
I think that's why, and that's why support is needed. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I helped already hundreds of people to do that, and when I started myself, I wished there was somebody to help me to figure this out with somebody who knows, who walked the walk, who knows how to do it. Because on your own, it's not like, I'm not saying it's impossible. That's not true, but it takes much longer. It's much bumpier road, and it's not guaranteed that it will bring you a success, right? So that's why, like on average, in my programs, within 5-6 months, people already transition to different careers. You know what I mean? So it's like, but it's because they have a system that takes the overwhelm, the stress, the kind of wondering how, what if, all of these things is taken out, so they can just focus on realigning back to themselves, finding from this alignment a new career path and transitioning there. So they literally have to trust the process and just implement it. And so that's what takes, and because they know and they're confident that it will help, because I know that it helps. No, none of my clients didn't transition well. All of them did. So it means it does work. It's not like you're the first one, you're not the last one. You know what I mean? And so this helps to because if you don't have a person, a support or accountability or however you call it, who will tell you, no, that's not true, or not, that's sabotage, or no, that that's much, as I said, it's possible, but it's much more difficult and takes longer. So I always believe in the support. And of course, everybody connects to different type of coaches. That definitely has to be, you need to feel good about the person. But definitely support of coaches is important, because they will help to kind of to shortcut your success and make sure that it's uh, guaranteed. So yeah.
Yeah, so you can save a lot of time kind of when you are acting as a guide, right? Holding their hand, literally, right? And when those questions or doubts pop up, I'm sure then your program is designed to address them and kind of navigate those aspects. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you a little bit more about, okay, so you had several trials, like you said, you kind of changed then industries or changed a little bit the form of what you were doing. And you said you even hired a coach. And how did you get to, okay, now I know I have the clarity that I have to start my own business?
But that came when I already went through this whole alignment journey. I
Okay.
just knew that I can absolutely make an impact on this world, and it doesn't have to be for one company. Of course, I could impact this other company in the same way that I impacted my previous employer. But I knew if I want to go bigger and make a bigger impact, I don't want to just restrict myself with one company. It just felt, because I discovered by that time my why. And this is what I also kind of show and teach and support people to discovering your why, because your why will be your north kind of light. It will be your guide for if you're on the right path and if your transition is necessary or not. Like my why is to inspire transformation in others so that they live an authentic, meaningful life. So you see, that's how I just realized, okay, to inspire transformation and so that people live an authentic life, it will be much better to have in my own business, because then I choose with who I work. I choose, like, so there are lots of freedom and flexibility how I can impact the way I kind of want to impact. In the company, you have to stick to the company policy. Of course, there is freedom is relative there, right? So that's how the decision was clear to me. Definitely entrepreneurship. So
Yeah, beautiful. And then how did you build the confidence to build up to it, right? Because like you're working, you're getting a paycheck, right? There's certain level of income you're having, right? Your things are kind of predetermined, or you perceive a lot of stability in that. What helped you to make the leap of faith and have the courage?
well, at that moment, I already had few coaching clients. So I started coach actually on the side when I was having my corporate jobs. At that moment, I helped already quite a few people. I helped myself. Yes, you face the risk of uncertainty. Yeah, makes me feel excited, growing, fulfilled. And because that's where the real growth is happening. So if you want to grow, you cannot grow at the comfort of your comfort zone. So it has to trigger you. You have to be scared and excited. That's for me the right definition of the career growth. When you feel excited and scared, you're on the right track. If you're just excited but not scared, you're not growing. That's not what you need to go after. But when you're scared and triggered, oh my God, that's big time. It's there. It's for you. And this is where it will take you far. Because I truly believe if you have a desire for something, you literally can make it happen. It means that you have all the resources inside of you to make this desire reality. Otherwise, this desire wouldn't even appear inside of you. It will not be generated inside of you. It's my truly belief. So that's what helped me. I just knew that nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Wow, the desire. So and desire, is that the why you're talking about? Like, is that the same thing?
Yeah, I think desire is your why. Desire is linked usually to your why, right? So, but also desire can be, I just want to have a incredible lifestyle, like freedom and like love what I do. And as I said, it can be in the corporate world. I'm not just advocating here that the only way is to be an entrepreneur. Like, for example, with all my clients that I worked with, they didn't want to be entrepreneurs because they like a certain aspects of the corporate world that they want to be there. Entrepreneurship is completely different world, right?
Yeah.
But it's more, yeah, it's just a matter of, and even if you transition into a new industry, to a new career, it's again you face an unknown. How do you know? But that's the beauty of it. I guess that's the beauty of this journey. So yeah.
So that what you're saying is your why has to be so inspiring for yourself. It has to light some fire under your butt.
Yes, and you embrace this fire and this desire. Desire, you feel almost like I feel it in my solar plexus. It's like this nagging feeling, by the way, That was my desire trying to tell me what is that for me to do. That's the desire that I was ignoring, because you have this fear. So it's a matter of you, either you embrace this desire, your why, however you call it, doesn't really matter,
Mm-hmm.
or you embrace the fear. The choice is yours. But if you embrace the fear, you will protect yourself from possible, as you say, rejections and failures, which are actually not true. But also you protect yourself from having and experiencing something different, from experiencing and having a beautiful, incredible, exciting, fulfilling career life. So that is why embrace the desire, let the desire run the show, not this fearful part who just wants to protect you. It's a part of you that wants to protect you, but also it's protecting you from beautiful life. So embrace the desire, believe in yourself, and as I said, things, opportunities start to happen when you go for desire. I don't know how, but it works in a way that whenever you say yes to your desires, the people, the right type of people, the right type of teachers, the right type of opportunities will start coming up. You don't need to figure this all out before. You don't need to know all the steps and how to make desire reality. You just start. You just show the whoever the universe that you're ready and you want to embrace it. And then, as I said, right people, opportunities, teachers come to your life and show you the way. So that's how it always worked for me and for many people.
When you're making the transition, right, and you're still in your current reality, and okay, now you're at a point where you can connect with that bigger, the different, right, that vision or why. When the reality, your day-to-day hits, right, your regular stresses, buttons get pushed, right, triggers, your day-to-day experience that many times kind of we relive as a Groundhog Day. How did you implement it, like to start kind of pulling towards it?
Well, it becomes part of who you are, because that's the whole thing. Once you learn it, it cannot disappear. You feel it with everything. Like it's like this is something like you learn how to bike, so you will not be able to forget how to do it. It's almost like when you touch and connect and understand who you are, there is no way you will be different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're leaving. That's why I was always laughing. Like my clients say, Irina, but how do I know that this is the right role? You will feel it. It's like when you look at the job description, you see, oh my God, but that ticks all my boxes, and it just feels good. It just feels exciting. It feels like you want to do it. So you kind of so this all of this is already in you. You're just waking it and up and unleashing all of these things, right? So
Mm.
that's why your daily life becomes just you expressing who you are, because you know it now. So if your value is freedom and somebody's micromanaging you, you will know that not for me.
Yeah.
So and that's why, okay, what do I do to align it back to my value? If you feel that you're not using your strengths but rather weaknesses, not who I am, not my energizers. Okay, so how do you realign to? So you see, so that's how all the decisions will be made based on all of this knowledge you discovered about yourself, and then you see how can you align what is that you have back to what is like who you are. So that becomes part of your life, and once land, you can never go back track.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love the beautiful things that you're sharing with us, and the coming back home to yourself. That can be the biggest journey I think that we take, and it has such a powerful effect. Like you just some of the examples and what you shared to impact your career journey. So tell us a little bit more. How can people find you? Where can they find all the wisdom and strategies that you're sharing, and how can they work with you?
Yeah, so I have my Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook account, Career Change Strategist. Sorry, I forgot my own account. It's career.change.strategist.
Career.change.strategist. So go there
Yeah.
and check out all the beautiful and empowering information really that she's sharing. And then you can go from there. I think you have a link tree there also with more descriptions about your programs and what you offer and how you support people. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
your time, Irina. I really enjoyed connecting with you.
Thank you so much. It was really, really great to talk to you as well and share and inspire, hopefully, people.
Yes, yes, no,
Thank you so much
the
for
work you're
inviting me.
doing is beautiful, and keep helping more people transform their lives and transform more than a third of their life, right? And like you said, it's affecting your career is affecting every other area of your life. So thank you.